So we just got out of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and I'm going to take a few minutes and answer some of the questions you may have about the movie. The questions I have going into the movie: Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Marvel is done holding hands for people who have not been keeping up with the series. That's one of the things that stood out about this movie. If you have not seen some of the previous movies, you are probably going to be lost for a good chunk of this movie. Surprisingly, for the third in a series, this movie really does not cater to those who saw the first two. Ant-Man was a very grounded, based on size pranks, straightforward heist movie. Ant-Man and the Wasp carried on in that theme. You had people running from the law. You had big and small sight gags. You had a lot of jokes for Paul Rudd. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania does not carry on in that vein. Yes, you'll still have characters getting big and small, but this is much more of a brand new universe, strange creatures. This is more like Guardians of the Galaxy than it is like Ant-Man and the Wasp. So go into it with more of that type of expectation. Things you need to know before going in: you do need to be familiar with the main four characters, plus Cassie, Scott Lang's daughter. You also need to have seen Infinity War, seen what they did with the quantum realm there. Again, Marvel's not going to hold your hand on this. They throw a lot of things at you in a hurry, and they do expect you to keep up. I enjoyed the movie. I felt that there was good performances from the main characters. They give Michelle Pfeiffer a lot to do, which is really good. Of course, the main feature for this movie is Jonathan Majors as Kang, and it really is set up to spotlight his character. It spotlights the character, and it spotlights his acting ability there, and it sure makes Phase 5 seem like it's going to be a lot of fun with that character. Certainly there are Catherine Newton as Cassie Lang is also very good. So there's the performances are fun. As far as the guest star, William Jackson Harper, he is a lot of fun in every scene. If you're familiar with him from The Good Place, he's also very good in this role. Going into the movie, I had two main concerns. One was regarding the role of Bill Murray. I thought that would be distracting or take away from the overall plot. The good news is it's a relatively small role. He's on screen for about 5-ish minutes or so and then out. The other part was I thought there was going to be a troubling negotiation where Scott Lang is negotiating the universe to try to get some of his years back with Cassie. That really did not enter into the plot line at all, which is good. That would have been a rather troublesome, selfish deal for Scott Lang to make, and that wasn't the case. So those two plot elements were not in there, and what was left was better for it. There is a lot of CG in the movie. There's roughly, 5 to 10 minutes set in San Francisco. If you've seen the trailer, you've seen basically everything there is set in San Francisco. So most of it is set against green screen. Most of it is very CG heavy. That doesn't bother me. That's fine. Marvel CG, it doesn't take you out of the movie. I can understand if you're a film critic, you may be tired of it, but overall, I thought it was fine for the movie. Did not take away from the experience. MODOK was one aspect of the movie that really didn't work real well. I felt that took away from some of the rest of the movie. It was fine. It was not a big deal. It just was not the most effective use of the character or something that necessarily needed to be there. But I like seeing Corey Stoll, so that was fine. This is the third or fourth Marvel movie in a row that is requiring you to make a little bit of investment into the backstory to really follow along. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever required you to have seen Black Panther. Thor: Love and Thunder needed you to have seen Infinity War and probably at least the other Thor movies to understand that one. And Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness not only required you to have seen Infinity War and the other Doctor Strange, but also needed you to have seen WandaVision to keep up. So Marvel may want to try to throw a movie out there that more in the line of Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, that is a little bit easier for people to just pick up and go, because if you continue to ask people to put in 6, 8, 10 hours just to be able to enjoy the movie, that's going to be a rather big lift, and sooner or later people are not going to want to do it. That being said, there is a sense that people are punching down on the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now, that they are looking at it as trying to take down a giant. It's still a fun movie. These are great actors. These are fun characters. They give them fun things to say. So as long as you're not completely exhausted from the Marvel Universe, you'll enjoy it. If you do stay till the end, you will certainly recognize a few Easter eggs in the mid-credits and post-credits scenes. Those are fun little hints to those who may be familiar with the comics and the other parts of the movie or the cinematic universe.